endeavor, we focus a lot on the multiplier effect. So what is the multiplier effect is that, I'll take example of Kareem. So basically Kareem is an Amina story.
Yes,
right?
it is.
But what happened is that because of one Kareem, you had this Kareem mafia that came out of Kareem.
Yes.
Like this is the first, I would say in this region it's the first.
Oh, Kareem is the first
time.
mafia. Okay.
Yeah, the first mafia.
Yeah.
And today in Pakistan, you will find almost like I think 50-60% of the companies which have come up in the past 4-5 years are actually ex-Kareem employees.
Okay. अस्सलामुअलैकुम एवरीवन, मेरा नाम है निताशा एंड आई एम द होस्ट ऑफ शाम की चाय, जहाँ पे हम बहुत ही कूल पाकिस्तानियों की कहानियाँ आपके सामने लेकर आते हैं। हमारा ये वाला सीज़न कोलैब्स ने पावर किया है और हम पाकिस्तान के एंटरप्रेन्योर्स से, बिजनेस पीपल से, स्टार्टअप से, फाउंडर से बात कर रहे हैं। आज हमारे पास आई हैं सामिया। शी इज़ द Chief of Staff at Endeavor Pakistan. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. How are you, Nitasha?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good as well.
Thank you
for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on our show. Samia, you have an incredible background. आपने लम से graduation की थी, फिर आप काफ़ी international companies में आपने काम किया है, Unilever में काम किया है, फिर आप Kareem गई. And so talk us through your journey a little bit, from like when you graduated to now.
Okay, so I graduated in 2015. I'm actually an economics major. But I ended up at Unilever. And I was actually a management trainee for their sales, as they call in Unilever we call it as customer development department. But I happened to do mostly marketing stints, and I was working. I actually started as an e-commerce manager at Unilever. So I won't say manager. It was more so like associate, because I was the first full-time person hired for that position. And in 2015, now it's like every place is buzzing with e-commerce. I'm talking about a time when e-commerce was very new in Pakistan. And a lot of, there was a lot of misconception about what e-commerce is. Today it is about AI, right? So that was the time where Pakistan e-commerce was very fresh or new. And I remember we had to do a lot of convincing with our brand managers कि आप जो है अपने Facebook पे जो है वो buy now button लगाएं. So we had to do a lot of these basic awareness building in the organization. Unilever is one of the most, I would say, advanced organizations. But when you bring in a new change is never easy to bring in a culture or an organization.
और e-commerce का तो एक पूरा like financial side भी आता है ना, online payments करना, returns करना, लोग या cash की society है, लोग like credit cards पे चीजें नहीं खरीदते हैं, so it's a whole.
So I'm actually taking you one step even back from what you're talking about. It's just about basic asking you to give me an approval. Can we start working with you? So that's what I'm talking about. And as part of my role, yes, figuring out operations, payments, constant distribution से कहाँ तक stock जाएगा, etc. was all part of that role which I did there. I did a full-fledged marketing role there as well. I was an assistant brand manager for Lifebuoy shampoo and Care shampoo. And after that I did a role for their rural market development as well. My last role there was as a cosmetics channel manager. So it was a very hardcore distribution-based role. You don't find a lot of females in sales. There's a lot. Actually, the thing is that it is perceived to be a man's job mostly. I think I'm lucky I got to do that for a year, because I think that I always say that role was very difficult, but it settled me up for life. Because it taught me, that how difficult jobs can be. So it actually made me grateful for the career I had after that. Then I joined Kareem. I remember when I joined Kareem, I got this a lot from a lot of friends and family that who joins a taxi company. I'm so glad I made that decision, because a lot of the knowledge I picked about how startups work, how startup operations, marketing, etc. works, I learned all that in Kareem. And I got some of my really close friends from Kareem. Who are friends. We are very good friends till date. So the culture there was phenomenal. And I think Mudassir's leadership was phenomenal. So I'm glad that I could be part of that history. So after Kareem, so my last role was there. I was basically looking at strategy and partnerships, etc. After that, I joined Daraz. Daraz was very short-lived. It was hardly 2-3 months. I was actually regional head for growth, seller growth. And while I was at Daraz, I had actually, on a side, I had started hustling in terms of some business.
Side hustles, yes. Startup का bug लगता है ना, तो बस सबको होता है.
Bilkul, you're spot on with that. So that happened with me.
Yeah.
So yeah. Acha, ironically, even at LUMS, I used to be part of the LUMS Entrepreneurial Society.
Acha, okay.
So I won't. So basically, मुझे लगता है कि as Steve Jobs said that you always join the dots backwards.
Yeah.
So if I join those dots backwards, so I think everything made sense for me that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I went to Kareem, then I went to Daraz. After that, I tried my hands on a business as well for 2 years.
Acha.
Yeah, and then Endeavor came along last year in June.
Acha.
So I joined. It's been now 8 months.
Acha.
I've been at Endeavor.
Acha.
So I'm part of you can call the founding team at Endeavor. There were 3 more people who were hired before me.
That's incredible.
Including our MD, the founding MD.
Yeah.
So far so good.
Yeah.
Very thankful to have.
You're past the honeymoon period. There's always a honeymoon period when you start a job. और सब अच्छा लगता है. फिर थोड़ा पता लगने
So startups में there is never a honeymoon.
Oh, that's true. Actually, startups में नहीं होता. That's true.
I can tell you that. Also, the reason being that so when I was at Unilever, so they give you like whole period of setting in. They have these orientations and onboarding programs.
Yes.
At startup, it's your first day, your job.
You're in there. You're like, मैं पूरे system को तो ही ना वो crash कर दूँ या. So I was doing some research on Endeavor and I asked a couple of people कि Endeavor करता क्या है, and everybody tells me it's the same version of a different thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to hear it from your mouth. Like, what does Endeavor do exactly?
Okay, to give you some perspective, we're not an accelerator.
Acha.
We're not a fund.
Okay.
So basically what Endeavor is a community of role model entrepreneurs, mainly in underserved markets.
Acha.
So wherever you'll find Endeavor, it's basically markets like Pakistan, where there is a plethora of talent when it comes to entrepreneurial values and entrepreneurial gene, I would say.
Yeah.
But what happens is कि उन इकोनॉमी से अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इतना सपोर्टिव नहीं होता उस एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के कल्चर को प्रमोट करने के लिए. So those are the kind of markets we are there. We are in 42 markets now.
Oh wow! In just in Pakistan? Okay, globally. Yeah. Okay.
And it's a 26-year-old organization.
Okay.
Yep. So Linda Rottenberg is our founder, is our global founder, and we headquartered in New York mainly.
अच्छा.
पाकिस्तान में हमने last year enter किया है मार्च में. Yeah. And so interestingly, what does this you can say role model entrepreneurs do is they support the next generation of role model entrepreneurs, mainly through inspiring them, inspiring them to dream bigger. Like for example, if I am a founder and I'm meeting you, you are probably through Endeavor, and the chances are high that you've probably either done an exit, and so what makes it unique, what makes this connection unique is you have probably been in my shoes before. Right. So you know the relatability.
Yes.
And you know the sort of feeling that okay, so it's not a problem.
I'm not just me. I'm not failing.
So it's more like we are. I understand where you go, what you're going through. So all that and helping them to think through things and to help them look at the bigger picture and push them to scale faster. Scale faster comes in where we're basically connecting. It's not just to do that whole empathy thing, but also to guide the other person as to how they can scale faster. It is by providing them the expertise or the different areas and domains of business that can help them to scale faster.
That's incredible.
And also by helping. So the unique thing about these connections is that when two entrepreneurs are interacting, the chances are that they might even end up investing in the other entrepreneur.
Oh, interesting.
Like if you have a global Endeavor entrepreneur talking to a local Endeavor entrepreneur, the connections they make from there, the guidance they seek from there, there are high chances that they lead into investments. And I think so this is how the whole connection thing works.
I think that's very interesting because startup जो life है वो बहुत isolating हो सकती है, like being a founder is very like lonely in some ways, and so talk to me about the founders in Pakistan and this. We hear this term a lot of like imposter syndrome, or usually हम like औरतों के उस पे करते हैं कि भाई imposter syndrome like औरतों को होती है जब वो male dominated industries में आती हैं, लेकिन I think in some ways जब आप एक emerging market में एक फाउंडर होते हैं और आप अपने आप को लाइक अदर फाउंडर से मेजर कर रहे हैं जो कि एक एस्टैब्लिश मार्केट्स में राइट, आपको भी थोड़ी सी इम्पोस्टर सिंड्रोम होती होगी यार, लाइक यार यूट्यूब इतनी जल्दी स्केल हुआ, या रेडिट के जो थे या कोरा के जो थे एकदम से लाइक इट जस्ट बिकेम वायरल ओवरनाइट, राइट, एंड यू फील लाइक you're doing something wrong and you feel like you're the only one going through this thing and that you're failing. And so how does Endeavor help an entrepreneur kind of navigate that and talk through some of that?
So thank you for actually mentioning that, because what Endeavor does is that we provide these avenues, these safe spaces, I would say, for these entrepreneurs to come and to actually interact with each other, where they can be vulnerable with each other, because somewhere, somehow, we both are feeling the same thing, but we're not talking about it.
Exactly,
but since we both know we are founders, so somehow they open up to each other. So that helps them, think through कि अच्छा, it's not an abnormal problem. It's not something, okay, only I am feeling. Maybe this is a thing that all founders have to go through. But talking about it and admitting that yes, we're facing this issue, let's talk this thing out and let's solve it together. So what we do is we have these multiple forums. We have under Endeavor for our local Pakistan chapter. Like we have these breakfast with the board sessions where we invite 20 to 25 founders who come in, and we have these sessions with one of our board members. So Endeavor Pakistan is lucky to have one of the most amazing boards of a company that Pakistan could have. We have some names I'll take. We have Amir Pracha from Unilever.
Nice.
He's our CEO. Who's not our CEO.
He's a CEO.
Unilever CEO. But we have Tanya Idros, from D Global. We have Akib Gedit from he's there, and Samad Dawood is there. So basically, these are the leaders who have actually led very hardcore Pakistani businesses to that level, and who are still building these things out. So what happens is that we bring in these founders, they interact with one of our board members, and then the good thing about those interactions is, while everybody is figuring out, talking about their challenges, etc., there is one figure, like a board member, who's probably has sorted those challenges out. So their job is not to give them solutions. Their job is to help them think through the process and to help them identify that this is your problem you're facing, and let's try these 3-4 things to figure out what can fit into our ecosystem of startups. So those are the sessions we do. Other than that, we have these multiple occasions where there is peer-to-peer networking. We have one of the key factors why entrepreneurs actually join Endeavor Network is because we connect them with our global network. In the other 42 markets as well. The chances of the business I am building, there is somebody out there in the other country who has probably built that. So I might be at stage A, that other founder might be at stage B, C, D. So I can now, through Endeavor Network, I can now connect with that person. Probably when I reach out to them through LinkedIn, they might not reply me. So when you reach out through Endeavor, so the chances of them responding to you, interacting with you become higher, because they are somehow they are either Endeavor entrepreneurs or either they are on some under Endeavor's chapters boards. So that whole connection that makes sense. Then they are also willing to give you time.
That's incredible. अभी आपने एक जो बात बोली कि और founders हैं जिन्होंने वही चीज़ की हो, वो different stage पर हो. So like you're building more of a collaborative space than a competitive space. हमें बहुत at least यहाँ पे मैंने notice किया है, like कहा जाता है यार अपने idea को किसी को मत बताना, कोई चोरी कर लेगा, right? And like the response to that is like अगर वो चोरी करना इतना आसान है तो फिर like it's probably not a good idea, right? And so talk to me more about how like collaboration sort of is kind of one of the recipes for growth, right? Like talking about your idea is the right thing to do, right? And so how do you foster that type of openness and community within Endeavor?
So I think for that, the way our global community is managed, I think it's the biggest proof of that. Reason being that there are a lot of Endeavor companies who actually end up merging with each other.
Oh, nice. Okay,
I think that is the litmus test of what you're talking about and how are we doing it. They actually end up doing mergers at the end, because there were two founders building the same thing in different parts of the same country maybe. But what happens is that through Endeavor they came together, spoke about the idea, discussed it, and they're like, hey, why not work together? And then they end up merging the two, and you become a bigger power.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So that is one way. Another thing is like how we have these. So at this time we have around 5 Endeavor entrepreneur companies onboarded with us who've actually gone through a rigorous selection process from Pakistan.
Acha.
They have actually passed an international selection panel.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's actually a 4-stage process through
Acha.
which these entrepreneurs go through
Acha.
to become that part of the esteemed network, the
okay.
prestigious network of
Endeavor,
entrepreneurs throughout the globe.
Acha.
Yeah. So what we try to do effectively is basically, if I'm an Endeavor entrepreneur, you are too. So we will try to bring the synergies of the two together.
Okay.
If you are a payment solution and I work, for example, in the retail space, so I would actually there's a high chance that I talk to you and we figure out something for our businesses and end up collaborating.
Nice.
So that multiplier effect comes in where we not only operating as two separate bodies who are trying to inculcate the culture of startups and entrepreneurship in Pakistan, but or any country where Endeavor exists. But at the same time, we're also trying to figure out, how can we support our businesses through those collaborations.
Okay.
And I think another thing I'll add here is with Endeavor, we focus a lot on the multiplier effect. So what is the multiplier effect is that, I'll take example of Careem, which is the closest to home, not a Pakistani company, but but a name that everybody is familiar with. So basically, Careem is an Amina story.
Yes, right? It is.
But what happened is that because of one Careem, you had this Careem mafia that came out of Careem. Like the PayPal mafia is very popular in America.
There's a healthcare mafia out there. Yes.
So this is the first, I would say in this region, it's the first.
Oh, Careem is the first mafia. Okay.
Yeah, the first mafia. And today in Pakistan, you will find almost like, I think 50-60% of the companies which have come up in the past 4-5 years are actually ex-Careem employees.
Okay.
They became founders. And I can bet on this that if you delete Careem from the story of Pakistan, the startup ecosystem, etc., you won't find so many founders and so much money coming in. So that's where the multiplier effect comes in. And Careem was an Endeavor company, by the way.
Oh wow, okay.
So you get it. So that became the part of the DNA of how that company operated. Because Mudassir somehow took that and actually owned it, and now that culture resonated with these founders. So our job at Endeavor is to find that story for Pakistan, where we find this company, these founders who actually work on that multiplier effect of actually not just creating jobs, not just creating good businesses, etc., but also inspiring a whole generation of the next founders that are coming in.
That's incredible.
And then they take the beacon and then they take it forward. They pass it on. So that's where Endeavor's paid forward approach comes in.
Okay, that's been incredible. Before we wrap up, tell us a bit about where Endeavor is going 5 years from now. What are you guys hoping?
I think we are very determined to find the next unicorn story of Pakistan. Basically, all this work I'm telling you about supporting and getting the community together, working on the conditions of entrepreneurship, because at Endeavor, we're very clear that we are here to get those conditions of entrepreneurship going. Endeavor never says that we are here to create entrepreneurship. We believe that the entrepreneurship exists in every market. It is all about how you improve the conditions of for entrepreneurship to thrive. So that's what we're focused on, to talk to these founders, listen to their challenges, and to identify that is it like a founder-centric challenge or is it like at a community level facing. So that's where it's key, because that when we fix that, it is fixed for a lot of founders. It's not just about our Endeavor entrepreneurs, but also at the same time we're fixing as we're going. As we are working on the next unicorn, we are on the way. We are trying to fix a lot of things for other founders who are following them, basically. So you can say we're trying to unlock a whole generation of next entrepreneurs for Pakistan.
That's amazing.
Because when you have entrepreneurs, they support your economy, and then things go up from there.
They do.
So I think if I talk about myself, I think if I have to do my part, so I think there's no other better part of doing it than helping somebody actually build their business, which builds jobs, and which impacts everybody's lives, and also eventually your economy. So I think that is very crucial for us, that we actually create that story from Pakistan. Nobody is, I think, alien to the fact that when Careem became such a successful story, so much investment has come into the MENA region, Saudi region. So I think that's the wonder of a unicorn story from a region. So that's what we are trying to build.
Okay.
Of course, all the hard work is done by the founder.
Of course,
but we're here to support them.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, good luck finding the next unicorn of Pakistan.
I think we should all just keep our fingers crossed.
We're all going to keep our fingers crossed, and thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, nahi, aapne hamare saath itna time guzara. You know, you told us about everything that you do and the wonderful work, and so we're very appreciative.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching. Inshallah, मैं एक और episode के साथ आऊँगी. Until then, Allah Hafiz.